It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
All right, welcome everybody. Sorry for the late start today. It has not been a normal day. So, don't have any coffee or nothing here. Got a little puppy. Co-host, getting ready to start the show. Rapid Fire hasn't posted their show yet, so hopefully we got some time. Hey, we had some people joining us at the normal start time. Mike White was out there. Anderson Manufacturing joining us. Welcome from Kentucky. And Gunpowder Beauty is joining us now. I think you might be the only person out there. How would we know unless someone comments? All right, on Tuesdays for our show, this is episode 1687, so 1,687 shows. Not that big a deal, but 1,687 shows. On Tuesdays, why don't we take a look at Instagram? We've been doing that for a number of years now. I like the Instagrams. Personally, I like the live stuff on the YouTubes and the internets, but the Instagram with its pictures, I've been a fan of photographs my whole life, and I really like what you can get across in a photograph. It's pretty interesting to see what other people are able to do with their photographs. And Instagram is... What am I doing? Well, it seems like when you're in a big hurry, you click all the wrong buttons here. So Instagram is one of my favorite platforms over the years. Does it say when we started this platform? When we joined some of the platforms, they'll tell you when they start or when you started. I guess it doesn't. But I think we started in like 2015 or something. Maybe before that. And it certainly got big there for a while, around 17. Maybe between 15 and 17. Instagram was a lot of fun. A lot of photographers over there and a lot of fun stuff. It turned into the short videos, and that changed it a lot. And, of course, they're anti-freedom, so they don't like certain things. They like to be really confined in their rules. So they make it a pretty toxic environment for a lot of people in a lot of ways, but it still has its advantages over some of the other platforms, and that's what we do on Tuesdays. We take a look at the stuff, not that we post. Our stuff's pretty boring, actually. We've been posting some stuff we saw at SHOT Show, and most of the time we post announcements about things, our live shows, and maybe some travel stuff, kind of what Instagram was designed for, just to kind of share travel stuff and document travel trips and adventures. But a lot of people use Instagram for outreach and for awareness and for inspiration and motivation. Those are all things I like when we're talking about what our Second Amendment defends, right? So I think it's been a couple of weeks since we did this show, actually. So we're going to go back a little bit. And did we do one from SHOT Show? I don't even think we did one from SHOT Show. So why don't we start somewhere back here with NAA, maybe? No, I don't remember. None of these really look familiar, so I'm going to keep going back. We're going to be here for a while. I probably should have made something to drink. All right, well, we'll start with this one. So this is an old target that Ed stuck his face on. Looks kind of funny. Let's see. So Stephen Holbrook was talking back on Martin Luther King Jr.'s day about how Martin Luther King was denied a CCW permit I thought he had a pistol permit. So I guess in 1956 he was denied a permit. So that's even more messed up. Then we got Tony talking about, let's see, it says, I didn't lose a damn thing in a boat accident. Yesterday was MLK Day and Black History Month is in 2 weeks. Most people imagine if they were alive during the Black Civil Rights Movement, they would march with Dr. King. If you aren't standing up to your anti-gun relative, co-workers, and associates, if you can't or won't call, write, email your representatives, if you refuse to join any 2A advocacy organization, if you stay silent when it comes to the rights of all people, you weren't going to stand up to the riot police, water hoses, and death threats from the KKK. The pro-freedom community needs to stop trying to appease and start being effective. I'm not hiding my pro-gun, my pro-Second Amendment advocacy in the closet. I'm the Second Amendment. It's a civil right, or the Second Amendment is a civil right. I am a civil rights advocate. The natural right of self-defense is codified in the Bill of Rights, one of the most important documents in the human history. As a gun owner, stop acting as if gun owning is a dirty secret, not discussed in front of company, and definitely not in public. Speak up, stand up, and join the fight for your rights. Tony does a great job of championing normalization of guns. We used to be able to own property and be proud of it. A lot of times you're given kudos for doing what you want, unless what you want to do is own certain property. And that's the Overton window. That is an influence of people with an agenda implemented over time. And a bunch of people were not paying attention because they didn't realize there was an attack being made. And now we're dealing with the consequences of that. Tony's doing an awesome job of illustrating that while resisting and pushing the other way. Alan Anchor, our friends here in Arizona, have New Year patches. So how long ago was this? January 16th? I guess I went back, way back. So, but I don't think these are ones that we've talked about. So they've got no mold fees on patches. Now this is old, so I don't know if this is still going on or not. I know they had to book it to out of state for a little while, but I think they're back now. And I'm guessing if you need some patches made, you might want to check it out. Oops, clicking the wrong buttons here. So this is Brooke and her puppy.
Are we done? Are you gone? Where did they go?
He doesn't seem to care. How about your dogs? Are your dogs paying attention to that? Then we got Professor Yamane, when you are the publicist, marketing team, social media coordinator, copywriter, and webmaster for your own book. And he says, and critic. Well played. But that's pretty much what everybody does all the time now, unless you're super wealthy or you just don't care about the details, I guess. Let's see. Pets for Vets saying congratulations to Madison March, Miss Colorado, who was just crowned Miss America. She's 20-year-old second lieutenant in the U.S. Air Force. She's the first ever active duty military member to be crowned Miss America. I think I do remember that one from last time. So some of these are review. This is a nice 1940s ad for a Thompson submachine gun, a combination machine gun and semi-automatic shoulder rifle in the form of a pistol, weighing 8 1/4 pounds and having only 38 parts. Fires fully automatic from the shoulder at a rate of 1,000 shots per minute, or if desired, a shot at each pull of the trigger. Magazines can hold 20, 50, or 100 cartridges. And this I think was an ad from back in the day. Made by Colt's Patent Manufacturing for Auto Ordnance. So these were made by Colt for Auto Ordnance, who is Thompson. And what is this? Oh, then there's some guy. I thought that was a new picture, but I guess that's an old picture. Just a good picture of somebody from back in the day carrying a 1928, I think. And interesting how he has a dual mags going on. So, whatever those are, 20 round stick mags were still not enough for Nazis, taking out Nazis. I'm assuming those are for Nazis. what does this say? GM Georgia. Does that mean good morning, Georgia? If you or someone you know meets the following criteria, please reach out. If you're in those counties, if you desire to purchase a permit, if you're willing to participate in a lawsuit, unlike people who ditch out of other states and move to Georgia when they're involved in a lawsuit that helps challenge anti-Second Amendment situations, they're probably looking for somebody who's willing to participate in the lawsuit and not just get on board for the thrills and the credibility and then book it out of the town, out of the whole state. And then the biggest part of it is you need to be 17 to 19. So they're looking to challenge the whole youngins can go die for their country, but they can't own a firearm. Or youngins' spouses can go die for their country, but their spouses have to stay at home unarmed if they're younger than 21, which is ridiculous. This is from our Air Museum here in Tucson, and I'm a big fan. I grew up around these kind of planes, so this is definitely brings back memories of heading out to the big lakes where people fly around to get from here to there because the lakes are so big that it took forever in a boat. And a lot of fun flying around in small aircraft. If you've never done it, check it out. It's neat. People were a lot more accustomed to it back in the olden days when they weren't scared of so much stuff. Now we've got Chacho setting up after laying out the show floor outline, installing the infrastructure for our city electrical, and bringing equipment over for the heavy lifting at day one. So yeah, we definitely looked at some of these last week, or last time we did this. Maybe I'll jump up a little bit. I think I mentioned you could have got this patch.
Hey guys, we just implemented a new feature on our website.
Doing the auctions there, but got the patch from that dude at Chacho. That's Armenthia's luggage. Clover makes her get it in green. Oh, I probably can't play this music. But it's an awesome video of Bannerman Island. So that side, the left side here, is on the river, and the right side is over by the shore. So this is coming from the shore over to the island, and this is coming up from the shore, looking out at the rest of the river. No, it's not. Sorry, that was coming up from the riverside, looking down south. So New York City's up over those hills over there. Yeah, I can't wait to get back there again. Want to canoe out or kayak out, I guess, this time. This is Boise Army Navy surplus store, saying it got a snow day. Not sure what to do. Come and check out their store. Then we've got, this was from Tucson Military Vehicles. They're laying slabs. So right next to our Air Museum, they're going to start doing a military vehicle museum. They put up a fence. They kicked all the winos out of there that were sleeping in there. They put up a fence, and then now they're pouring slabs. This has taken like 2 years to do this, but it's kind of cool. They got a couple of vehicles like at the gate of the Air Museum right now. I'm assuming they're going to essentially be connected. They'll probably use the same parking lot, but I'm not sure. So this was from before SHOT Show, 331 new exhibitors. And they stuck them all in the same place this year. I don't know if I like that or not. 117 suppliers. I completely missed the supplier showcase again. I totally forgot about it. And I think they gave us an extra day, didn't they? The supplier showcase, 117 are new shot. Is the largest ever with 564 in one room. So that tells you how big the supplier showcase room is. There was a lot of stuff missing from SHOT Show. They talk about the new ones, but it wasn't like they added new tables. The people weren't there. There was a bunch of stuff that wasn't there that historically has been there, at least has been there for the last couple of years. Nothing big, like SIG, I guess. Nobody cares about that. And then that gun that you need a ring to shoot it, that stupid fake safety gun. I almost got kicked out of SHOT 2 years ago for talking to that guy too much. Let's see. So, this is Ed's manifesto. It says, I still remember the nights I prayed for the things I have now. I've heard this in lots of different ways, and if you don't stop every once in a while and think about like when you were 10 or 11 or 13 or something when you're little and you're just figuring out that you can do whatever you want, hopefully you're in a spot that that little kid would be stoked about. And it might not be where you'd like to be now, or where you've been, or where somebody else is, but fuck all that. It's a great message. Think about where you were when you were young and where you thought you'd be and what you got now. It's a pretty good message there. North American Arms. This one's kind of neat. This is their green huntsman, which is kind of like a green pug kind of thing mixed with, what did they call this thing? One of their, like, allegedly competition models. But it looks pretty strong. It has good parts on it. I guess the sights would work. I don't know how it's going to draw from a pocket or whatever. But the smooth cylinder, that's awesome. Good color combo too. Then I went to SHOT and they had that like pug mixed with a Sidewinder, unfortunately. This is the I Can't Stop Thinking of Gun Owner Genitalia starter pack, and that's pretty good. I guess making fun of the type of person who's constantly worrying about our nuts and our balls, or our business as gun owners. Back in the 90s, I guess, it was really cool to suggest that gun owners were compensating for small business, but kind of went away. So I guess this is like a flashback to when they used to worry about our sexuality all the time. So it got uncool to call people out on their sexuality. Like now you can just go, oh, you got a problem with my dick? And they can't say nothing about that. So they used to try to dick shame gun owners, I guess. So I don't know if people remember those days. Some people probably do, but I don't know if they remember that's a thing that we used to get on the regular. This is from Rebecca Schmoy, and it says, this is our opportunity as legislators to move out of the way and give every voting Kansan the ability to make their own voice heard regarding gun rights and our state constitution. This should be bipartisan, as the co-sponsor list proves. All legislators and Kansans should be welcome to the opportunity to vote on this topic for themselves on the November ballot. So what it says is that Rebecca Schmoy, who's been a gun rights advocate on a national level, has been rounding up sponsors of the bill in recent weeks. She didn't think the 2010 constitutional amendment went far enough to protect ammunition and firearms accessories. She said the amendment would give the general public the ability to, or the opportunity to decide to what extent firearms should be constitutionally protected. What we're starting to see now is lawmakers going after the components or the very items that make up the firearms or the ammunition. Carpenter, the House Speaker, said some representatives argue that accessories are not part of the firearm and can be regulated more than the gun itself. If these individuals can regulate the ammunition or the components that can make up the firearm, then the firearm becomes basically useless. So I guess in Kansas, there's some legislation to, take the proposed that is backed by 72 members of the House. Hearing is set for Tuesday at 9. Constitutional amendments require support from 2/3. Yeah, okay. It would have been nice to actually see it. I guess this could have been a good first slide. Proposed constitutional amendment seeks to bolster gun rights. So, seems kind of like fake news, because typically these kind of amendments seek to reclaim rights, not bolster. That acts like gun rights are doing just fine and we decided to take more ground, when in reality we've lost so much ground that we're just trying to reclaim a fraction of it. So this is Gabby Franco.
But I had a great time with a lot of people here in Iowa who understand.
She's talking about going to the Iowa 2A rally that happened on January 18th, I believe. So, January, probably 18th. And this is her talking about it on the 19th. I don't think Iowa did a good enough job promoting that thing. It should have been all over the internet. People should be flocking to these 2A rallies the way they flock to their opportunities to make money. It's rights and it's awareness. So some people do stuff to get messages out, and some people do stuff for other reasons. And it'd be cool to see rallies be cool again. For a while there, for a couple of years, maybe 18 and 19, rallies almost got cool, but it's super easy to not go to a rally, and a lot of people are scared to go to rallies. So they'll champion any opportunity to say a rally isn't worth it. And I know people that run national level Second Amendment organizations that have been around since 1970s that don't like rallies. So if you hate rallies and you think rallies are bullshit, you're not alone. You're just one of the people that are making guns, have to be in the closet. So we got Dragon Man here talking about his shop. I'd love to play this one in full, but we're going to have a long show today. But Dragon Man's awesome. He creates fixtures to do all these different processes to either rebuild or modify Harley engines. And I don't know how many Harley engines there are, but I'm assuming there's a few, judging by his dedication to this and his preciseness as a machinist. I doubt he makes one fixture work for two engines. I figure he probably has just more fixtures made for everything he's worked on. But he's essentially going through and showing you what it's like after a career of using machines to fix other machines, and he makes it look simple the way anybody does when they've been doing stuff their whole life. And we're going to miss a lot when Dragon Man stops doing his thing. We live in a time where you could go hang out with Dragon Man, and if you're not, you're making the decision to not go hang out with Dragon Man. You could probably just go hang out with Dragon Man and hang out in the shop. I'll bet you could go up there. I'm not saying you could, but I'll bet you could. All right, so it says, in 2024, the National African American Gun Association is officially launching our scholarship program. If you want to apply or donate directly, please click on the link below, and it's pretty cool. There are scholarships out there from other places, but typically they got to be around more than 7 years to be, well, are they around 7 years at this point? I guess maybe they're around 9 years, but that's still pretty awesome to see something like that being taken on by essentially a gun rights organization. So this is still before SHOT Show, and we had the Women for Gun Rights posting that on the 24th, on Wednesday, they were going to have a Turn Shot Teal event where everybody can show up, I guess, invited to show up at the Forum at 1 p.m. Or at the Attorney General's panel at 4 p.m. And these are at different places around SHOT Show, actually in two different buildings. So they ask you to wear their teal shirt, and you could have got one for free by checking out or grabbing one from them. And they even had a booth over here to check to get one from. So I don't know how that event turned out, but hopefully it went well. We've got the NFOA decided to go to the Nebraska Deer and Game Expo instead of SHOT Show. So we didn't see NFOA at SHOT Show, other than maybe people who are members of NFOA at SHOT Show. But this is them talking about their booth at a Deer and Game Expo that for some reason was held the same weekend as SHOT Show. I don't see the point of that. There's a lot of other times of the year you can make an event, and why make anyone have to choose? If they're already going to SHOT Show, they're definitely not going to your event. Our friends at BMC Tactical have a knife social coming up on the 17th of February, same day, the Saturday that we're having our rally here in Arizona. So if you're in New Mexico and you want to hang out with a bunch of knife folks, head over to Monty's Tobacco Place, cigar shop, I guess, and they'll have their knife social. A bunch of knife geeks get together and look at their knives, I guess. Maybe trade them, show them off to each other, cut things, I suppose. Then you've got Ryan Chuckin with Charlie posting about his podcast. They went live at the Samson Manufacturing booth each day from 10 to 11. Well, from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 11. And they had a bunch of people, including FPC, GOA, Second Amendment Foundation, Jim Irvine from Faster Saves Lives, Tony from 2A4E, Yuta, and Robin Sandoval from Girl in a Gun. So they also had Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. He was walking around SHOT Show with somebody. I imagine that's Maggie. And then the band Three Doors Down will be raffling off a rifle. So Charlie must know them. So interesting. They had a bunch of people, and then they went live at the Samson booth. Then we got Unapologetically Armed. And But I guess her puppy refuses to lay down unless she gets a good dose of attention. I don't have that problem. This dog will lay down. I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, always fun to see people playing with their puppies, even when their puppies are way bigger than this co-host. Let's see. Then Women for Gun Rights posted this one. Check out the slides to see how we are taking on the gun control lobby during SHOT Show 2024 in Las Vegas. It's time to reclaim the narrative. During SHOT Show, January 22nd through the 24th, we'll be running a 24/7 billboard campaign to combat the lies spread by Everytown last year during SHOT. These messages are crucial. Send this, and if you see one, share this, and if you see one of our billboards, take a photo and make sure to post and tag us. So 2023 at SHOT Show, on the way out to the range, Everytown, for wasting money and being an idiot, littered a bunch of signs all down the roads, like shit tons of signs, like an absurd amount of signs, an amount of signs that showed that they don't care, because they could have easily spent that money on suicide prevention or something to would actually have been effective. But instead they just bought a ton of like garage sale signs and stenciled them to say something like guns are the reasons that kids die. So they used fake math to suggest that 18 and 19 year olds are kids. Well, they don't want them to own guns, so I guess that makes them kids. The rest of the world considers them to be adults. But of course, when you include 18 and 19 year old criminals into the numbers, then sure, if you call 18 and 19 year olds kids, then guns are responsible for deaths. However, they took out all the medical issues. They just ignored that stuff, which actually kills more people than anything. And of course, they wasted a bunch of time to do this, or a bunch of money to do this, effort to do this. It was taken down before most people saw it. The only people that really saw it were the first people heading out to the range and the police, who pulled them all up and fined them for doing it. So except for annoying and giving the police something to do that morning other than their job, our normal job, they had to essentially clean up a bunch of signs that were littered out around the roads of Vegas. So they did this on essentially miles and miles and miles of road between the highways. So between the highway and the SHOT Show building, and then between the highway and the range. And they did this on Monday morning once. And the signs were essentially all taken down pretty much that morning. And then the ones that weren't taken down, because there were a lot of them, quickly just got destroyed by the people walking around that didn't care about the signs and were smashing on them or leaning on them, and they just got destroyed pretty quick, like anything would be that you just leave laying around on the streets of Vegas. Then this year, Women for Gun Rights decided to spend a bunch of money, I'm assuming, to run billboards 24/7. And there's a map here. This is one of the billboards, I think, but somewhere in here there was like a map. Here you go. A map of where they did this. All right. So I'm assuming they did this for the cost, but they put it on roads that people from California use to get into town. And that's it, because not the roads from Arizona or the road from Utah. But that's cool. So people from California got to see it, and then people up in, I guess that's one's on the Strip maybe. So this was essentially around the airport. And since you come out of the airport and go north, none of these are seen by anyone attending the airport. These are only seen by people who are essentially staying south of the airport, which is really far away to stay in Vegas, and it's not the best neighborhood. So I'm not sure why they picked these billboards instead of the ones around the convention center. It's probably why we didn't see any of them, but we didn't see any of them. I didn't see any of them. I only had the opportunity to pass these two, and there was so much construction and stuff that I wasn't going to drive near this area. This was under a lot of construction. So I didn't get to see any of them. I don't know if anyone did. And then these are the messages, I guess. Moms demand protection, Women for Gun Rights, and does that look like a person with a gun in her hands? We know what that is. She's not quite in Sewell. She doesn't have her finger on the trigger, but could she have worn something that contrasts with the gun so that we don't just look like she's holding her stomach like she's got a bellyache? Then it says, "My body, my choice," and that is Laura. So that one's just somebody shooting at you. "Protect me like a politician," and it's got a little kid. And then it says gun control is racist, and it's got a lady looking here, but do you know that's an AR-15? I do, but does anyone else in the world know that that's an AR-15? It's tan or what, flat dark earth on a brick background, so there's no way to see that gun. Not sure if they intended to make the guns less thing, but whatever. So we're responding using our very own billboard campaign. And this is the ones from last year that, I guess I should have said that Bloomberg paid for a shit ton of billboards last year too. His billboards were all around town where we were driving, so I saw those all the time, and I got some videos of them last year. These were the moving billboards that change every so often, so you have a tendency to look at them because they're changing all the time. I'm assuming that's what the DC or the Women for Gun Rights was doing. So it says the gun control lobby attempted to discredit the firearms industry using lies at SHOT Show 23. And yeah, definitely. So this was a great attempt. I really like it. I would have done it differently, but I have no idea of their circumstances. So it looks like it has a couple. They put a lot of effort in this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 comments. Be cool to see more than 14 comments, that's for sure. Then we got "Girl in a Gun." Get out of your head and get into the moment. I don't know who's that supposed to be a quote by, but it's pretty good, I guess. Girl in a Gun does this all the time. Posts these like inspirational, motivational quotes to get people moving, thinking about stuff. Here's the Sentinel is what they're calling it. It's a pug mixed with a Sidewinder. So looks like a rugged pug, but it's a delicate little Sidewinder. Couldn't fiddle with one money because I didn't go by. I looked at it. I got a video of it spinning around in a case, but I wish I liked side opening NAAs. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this thing is super strong, and I should shut up. We got Toby hanging out with Oren, Julie, who was a guest on a show a while back, and we got to hang out with her, I guess, at one of the booths. We got Kids Safe Foundation, who's in Oregon, talking with the that lawyer guy from Washington. I didn't see that guy there. And then I guess Kids Safe talking to a bunch of other people. All right, now we got Rebecca Schmoy posting HCR 5020 committee oral testimony. She says, "We spent a lot of time in committee this morning hearing from people who are scared of firearms and gun owners. We heard from people who don't think all infringement on our rights should be held to the same high standard in court. The focus was entirely on this side loves guns and that side hates guns. However, that was not the job today. Our opinions about guns and gun owners was not on the docket. We were discussing whether or not to put specific language into our state constitution which clarifies that ammunition, firearms components, and firearms accessories are to be considered part of the term arms, and whether to solidify the strict scrutiny standard within the right to keep and bear them. Kansas do not need gatekeepers. Every voting Kansan should be given the opportunity to have their vote on this clarifying language count as equal to every legislator in the Capitol. I trust the constituents of Kansas to be intelligent and capable enough to make their own decision on this matter. Does your legislator trust you?" So we don't have very many people who are Second Amendment activists and also in office. So how many comments does Rebecca have on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could do better than that. It's Kansas. We can assume like Kansas is just going to be cool, right? Oh, Kansas is a gun-friendly state. We don't have to worry about it. Nebraska is a gun-friendly state. We don't have to worry about it. Colorado is a gun-friendly state. We don't have to worry about it. Nevada is a gun-friendly state. We don't got to worry about it. Oregon, Washington, you know what I'm saying? Like there was a time when things were a little bit different, and people's choices and actions that we take that change them, that change the way the times are. That says this was a repost from 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control about that Women for Gun Rights doing the billboards around Vegas. And another one from 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control posting about Rebecca. Now we have the Esotech booth at SHOT, and these are essentially the same pictures I took, but it took me a while to find their booth. I saw this picture before SHOT, and they're normally, let's say you go into the one room in the big door and you go to the left, maybe a row in and go to the left. This time they were either go into the other door and take a left or go in and take a right. And I, for some reason, never even went down that aisle until the last day. So I've barely seen them on the last day. One of my favorite companies, though, out of California, making actual gear for dudes that are doing stuff. Well, for people that are doing stuff, and then being made by good people. So great stuff, real, all very compliant, legit, good to go. Unapologetically armed, saying a shotgun taken from a barbershop owner in the hands of a citizen did indeed stop it. Uvalde taught us that. The police aren't coming to save you. We are our own first responders. So somebody was saying that we learned time and time again that guns aren't going to stop us, and they tried to suggest Uvalde was it's a example of that. Then she says on the side here, it'll take a gun to stop it. Only question is who's using it and how long it's going to take. Another from that gun-free zones exchange. So, Unapologetically Armed, as you may know, should know, is a staunch advocate for the removal of gun-free zones, seeing as pretty much everything heinous that happens in a victim zone, which a gun-free zone provides. People that are not really paying attention to the realities and would like things to be certain ways, probably are very comfortable thinking that it's nice to think that guns wouldn't be taken into a gun-free zone, but they obviously are deluded, knowing that pretty much every heinous thing that's been inflicted on us as a society, because the media tells people you've got to use this and take it here in order for us to pay attention to you. And people take that instruction and they take this and they take it there and they do that and they become infamous. So instead of us placing blame on the media or the circumstances that would cause someone to seek out such infamy, of course, the delusion is it's the implement's fault. It's the implement's fault. Unapologetic Arms does a great job of illustrating and focusing on that. Awesome work. Dedication to that. So Texas is deciding to do some stuff with the border. I was in SHOT Show, so I wasn't paying that much attention. But a bunch of people that are all about let's just fight all the time are like, hey, great, here's an opportunity to take sides. So a bunch of people that are looking for civil war or want some kind of conflict are looking for opportunities. And this is one of the channels that brings that kind of news up for people to grab. Yeah. So now we have Carrie Ann O'Clair from Massachusetts talking about Refuse to Be a Victim, an award-winning crime prevention program. Don't miss out. Seats are limited. They have one on February 10th. Open to women only, 15 and above, ages 15 and above. That's on February 10th at a meeting hall for a gun club, it sounds like, in Mills, Massachusetts. Millis? Millis? I don't know the name of that. Whatever that town is. Looks like Carrie Ann is going to be teaching it. And yeah, those have been around for a long time, but NRA doesn't do anything. These have been around since at least 2010. I think Refuse to Be a Victim started in like 8 or 9, but NRA doesn't do anything. Let's see. We don't need to justify why we should be allowed to do something. Government must justify why we should be prohibited. It's a good one from 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. So this is from GOAL, Gun Owners Action League in Massachusetts. It says, we have our analysis on the bill starting piece by piece tomorrow. Keep an eye out. Link to the resource page in our biography. And Massachusetts is dealing with infringements without any kind of public challenge. The representatives have decided they know what's best for Massachusetts and are on a campaign to just really wail on them. Let's see. Outlaws Glock switches and other tools. Prevents individuals who are subject to harassment from holding dangerous weapons. Interesting. Because it doesn't. It would stop them from holding one type of a dangerous item. Everything's a weapon if you use it as such. So what's dangerous? Only guns? Nah, there's a lot of other dangerous things. And there's nothing in those red flag laws that would prevent a person who's upset or harassing someone else from holding any other dangerous item. Just removes one dangerous item. Prohibits the use of unserialized ghost guns. Ensures that gun dealers are inspected annually. So I guess this is their attempt to suggest that the elements of this mass infringement are somehow worked together. Very poorly made graphic, considering it's not even correct. It's got this weird puzzle piece out of nowhere over here. And the coloring on the letters means nothing. And the layout and spacing is laughable. So I don't know who created this, but it's garbage. And if someone got paid to do it, the people who paid for that should be offended, because this is garbage. And it's obviously the point of it is garbage, but their explanation is useless and certainly doesn't justify any position that they've got. So it should be easy to take that apart. We have the guy from, this is the Attorney General from California. Where am I getting any volume? Oh,
this year, concealed carry weapons ban law.
So he says concealed carry weapons ban, which is what it is, but it's supposed to be called a law that he created.
Proud to support SB 2 this year, our concealed carry weapons ban law.
As manifesto, once the rain is over, an umbrella becomes a burden to everyone. That's how loyalty ends when benefits stop. That's pretty good. So a lot of the times Instagram is pictures, but every once in a while it's something like this that makes you think about it. Do you not want umbrellas anymore? No, you probably still want an umbrella. But if you're acting as an umbrella, what do you expect people to love you all the time? Maybe when it's sunny, maybe when it's rainy. The rest of the time, you're sitting in a closet, right? So good advice, good point of view. Let's see. Or if you're an umbrella and you're bored of being out in the rain, think about wind and sun and those other things you could help with. Gizzard and Brooke finally met up, I guess. That's Gizzard posting that. Got Christian 740 brought his kid out. Snob brought his out. So interesting show in another way that it's the passing of the batons to some extent with the people we know going to shot. I mean, we've had lots of manufacturers and stuff whose kids are part of the thing. It's a little bit more normal for company to have the kids part of the business, but having content creators. Trying to think if anyone else has brought a kid. Not yet. We've thought about it ourselves, so maybe we'll look into it now. So Cape Gun Works came back from SHOT Show, and Toby pretty much landed, ate breakfast, and went out to the gun show. So the Cape Gun Works was at the gun show and in Marlborough. Looks like a pretty good show. Clean building. Then we got the Independence Fund. Great organization that does all kinds of things that benefit veterans. It says tomorrow we'll be hosting Target a Solution at SHOT Show 2024, a panel dedicated to ending veteran suicide. Check out the Military Times piece featuring dialogue from the panel participant Tim Kennedy and Sean Lee, Deputy of Operations at the Independence Fund. And then this guy would be joined alongside a bunch of other people who I don't know. And I guess they just stood there and, did a what do you call that kind of a booth appearance. But somehow they created something called Targeting a Solution at SHOT Show 2024. So I hadn't seen that. We'll take a look at that sometime. Now we have Women in Arms 1776 is Rebecca, I think. And it says, why do Massachusetts legislators have an issue with adjustable telescoping stocks on a rifle? Meet my friend Mary. Her arms and legs are much shorter than mine. She adjusts the seat in her car so she can safely reach her pedals. Why on God's green earth wouldn't a legislator want her to adjust her gun to fit her arm length? By adjusting the gun to fit her, it ensures safer and more accurate shooting. Speaking of safety, what's the problem with the barrel shroud? It is to cover the barrel so a shooter doesn't get burned. It's essentially a pot holder. As a nurse, I think it's the most brilliant design. Nurses don't have time to be treating burns in an ER because Massachusetts legislatures don't know what they are voting on. Get out, vote better, people. Massachusetts is being run by nonsensical politicians that don't have safety in mind. Very cool. So this is an article that went out in Boston, and this is Professor Yamane. I'm going to read both of these now. I just noticed that what's his face posted a link here, or a comment. So Professor Yamane posts, I am working up a video and blog post responding to a recently published opinion in the Boston Globe. For now, who can identify what Miles Sig Sawyer is pictured in the here in the author's as the pistol? For one, I don't care. Then it says, this is Mike Pannone from CTT here in Tucson. Just read this article. While nicely written, it seems to be written as a cathartic piece about her fears and then her self-loathing as a gun owner. She also strongly resembles one of those people who buys a gun so they can have more validity, saying that they oppose guns. We live in an imperfect world and many tools are misused. Drunk driving was a terrible problem until it was addressed through punitive legislation. From 1982 until today, drunk driving has dropped 65% without banning cars or alcohol and by rewarding those with good driving records. Maybe we can learn from that. And by the way, cars are not enshrined in the U.S. Constitution as a right. So, I'm sure he's not an advocate, so he's going to say typical stuff. Professor Imani says, astute observations, and some I make in the video I just recorded also. As well as my book, highlighting again how much I've learned wandering around the parts of gun culture with really smart people. Well, all right. So I guess they're complimenting each other on how smart they are about this. Go read the article. It's not that long. And it literally justifies every piece of crap in the new Massachusetts legislation. So I don't know if Professor Yamane thinks that this article just popped up out of nowhere. Oh, it just coincidentally popped up that the Boston Globe is running a bullshit article that addresses every single fucking point in their bullshit legislation. This is a plant. If I've ever seen a plant, it couldn't be more fucking obvious. And we're over here discussing the validity and how it's written. Come on. Why don't we call a thing when it's garbage propaganda? Call it out for being garbage propaganda. You don't have to politely talk to the person who created the bullshit propaganda about how they're elegantly written it was. But anyway, everybody's still mad about it, but just not mad about it for the reasons that it was created for. Cape Gunworks posted this one about their, I think Toby went to something at Battlefield Vegas and checked it out. I don't think he'd been there before, so These are some pictures of the stuff they got out front. You don't really shoot these. These are just sitting out front. But they give you an idea of what you're going to be shooting, because depending on how busy it is, you might be waiting around for a while. They don't have huge, that picture though. They don't have a huge range. It's actually very small. It's like 6 lanes, and they take people out individually. So it can take some time, I suppose, if it's crowded. So in order to give you something to look at, there's this kind of stuff. These dioramas are just static displays, I guess, out front in the lobby. Some of them you could probably shoot, I guess, but not these samples, but some of these are like the things they have for rent, but all their guns are in the back. These are just, they might be guns, but they're just samples. They don't really shoot, but mortars in there, I don't think. But it was cool to see Toby got an idea of what one of the rental places is like in Vegas. Has anybody ever played this? So this is in China, I suspect, and this is using airsoft and a little holder for your smartphone. And essentially, you, I'm guessing this is like, remember tag back in the day, except with airsoft and smartphones. So you wear these barcodes on your back, I guess, and maybe just on your back, or maybe on the front too. I guess it's just on the back. You could be looking at this as a fun game, or you could be looking at this as, look what people in China get to go around playing. I think if kids were doing this here, people would freak the fuck out, and that's bad, because that's manipulation on our society. Nothing wrong with kids going around playing, unless you're a fool. You don't think they're hurting each other. So, yeah, sad that we can't play this kind of stuff. Our kids can't be playing this stuff over here. But on the other hand, there's probably people that fear everything they're looking at here. Although they're going to let their kids play the same bullshit on their video games with people all over the world. Let's see. So then we have unapologetically armed again. It's deja vu all over again in the Missouri state. Senator, whatever his face is, SB 732, a bill with only a very small tweak to CCW permitting eligibility, has again been pulled from bills being heard in the committee today. I do not know the reasons why. But with the long list of really great firearms-related and especially gun-free zones-related bills finally now assigned to the Transportation Infrastructure and Public Safety Committee, I'd sure like to see some committee chairman, what's his face, start scheduling bills like Senator What's Her Face and Senator That Guy for public hearings. Don't get me wrong, I support SB 732 also, but that same fix can already be found in this other House bill, which will hopefully be soon on its way to the Senate. That way we will get public transit church bans lifted and the little tweak of SB 732 all in one. So essentially dealing with similar things that happen simultaneously because, people are idiots, or they're trying to get their own attention, or they're trying to get fame or something, or trying to make their own little wave. That can be frustrating when you're trying to just get stuff done, knowing you have to deal with people who are egotistical and looking for fame all the damn time. But guess what? That happens in quite a few realms. Oh, now we got Soldier Systems talking to John Carver, the godfather of the tactical nylon game. So find out who John Carver is. Oh, this guy's from Mayflower? No. Yeah, okay. I have no idea who he is. So somebody who's probably involved in nylon back in the 90s. Now we have NAGA always doing that orange on top of the orange skyline. Nearly 30, I don't understand this one at all. So we're going to be unchecking this one because I'm not even touching this one. I don't get this one at all. So this is NAGA. They've been around since 2015. So it's not like they're new, right? They've already had have they had 2 conventions, or this will be their second convention this year? here's what it says. Nearly 30,000 firearms have been stolen since Tennessee GOP relaxed gun laws. In 2022, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation data showed that more than 5,000 firearms were reported stolen. In this recent decade, some of those stolen firearms have been used to kill innocent Tennesseans. Thoughts? So, if they're just trying to challenge people to be able to justify, things that aren't perfect, I guess I understand it, but this certainly doesn't read that way. Really difficult to understand what the hell is up with NAGA. So they do some good stuff, they do some off the wall weird ass shit, and there's some of it right there. So no response to nobody's questions. Everybody's like, what are you, anti-gun? What the hell, you pro gun control? So no response from them. Pretty weird. I don't know what's up with their social, what they're thinking with it. Nobody's in here listening to this live, so if you're listening to this in the future as a podcast, then let me know what you think of that one. That one threw me for a loop. So now we're back to Unapologetically Armed, and this is Women for Gun Rights posting about her newest blog. She tells her story of beginning as an advocate without a roadmap and learning how to be effective. Her journey has been one of dedication, education, and willingness to face challenges head on. She is extremely effective and never backs down from a fight. We are so proud to have her as our Missouri State Director at Women for Gun Rights. And it's cool. Unapologetically Armed joins us here occasionally, and awesome example of someone who's getting it done, doing it, and getting it done. Page Gunsmith School. This is pretty cool. We have to be putting this in our calendar. So this is in Pennsylvania. I don't know where, but it says on May 17th, they're having an open house at the Page Pennsylvania Gunsmith School. Come tour the facility, meet the faculty, see what's new. And then on the 18th, right, so that's the 17th, on the 18th, hosted by the Pittsburgh Gun Club, industry vendors showcasing and selling products on site, pay-to-play competition, shooting events for prizes, family-friendly activities, food trucks and beverages, and more. So how freaking cool is that? I follow the museums, and I follow the gunsmith schools, I follow some other things, and rarely do they do anything other than just, occasionally post. This is super cool. I'm pretty sure this is unprecedented. Maybe it's because of their 75th year. I've never seen any of the schools do anything like this, but I certainly hope this becomes a bigger thing. And if you're aware, if you're interested, and you're going to be in the area, May 17th, 18th, and 19th at wherever this is, Pennsylvania. I said, I guess on Friday, it's an open house at the gunsmithing school. Saturday, it's the range day. And then Sunday, join us for brunch at local restaurant. So, very cool. If I was traveling, that would be on my list of things to do this year. Now we got Women for Gun Rights. This is May Tapino, Florida delegate and outspoken. Oh, this is a kid. So this is one of the Women for Gun Rights who's like 15. Then we have Women for Gun Rights. 94% of mass public shootings are in gun-free zones. Gun-free zones kill. I got a real issue with calling them mass public shootings, but I don't know. I guess they're trying to use phraseology that the other side created to demonize gun owners, but I don't get it. I wouldn't use those words. But gun-free zones kill. Great graphic. And it can be a little bit edgy for people, I suppose, but you got to get the point across sometimes. And that's a pretty quick way to do it. Now let's talk about our university Wildcats. So here in Arizona, we have the schools in Phoenix and in Tucson, and I guess there's other ones, but the big schools are in Phoenix and Tucson. They are the ASU and we are U of A. So we're the University of Arizona, and that team is called the Wildcats. So the shooting team is called the Wildcats, and they hosted a NSSF. What was this? This was a first shots or something like that. What do they call it? Lots of gun safety and the national champion, thanks to the NSSF collection for the first shots. That's what it was. So I think it's NRA first shots, but NSSF participated in helping them out. So this is our university shooting team taking I don't know how many people this is, but that's quite a few people. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26, 28, 32, 34, like 40 people almost. And it looks like they could only hold maybe 50 or 60. So almost their capacity of people. And brought them out for first shots, which is essentially introduction, orientation, and familiarization with firearms for the first time type of thing. And you get an example of the attention to safety and awareness that the tradition of safety has created in our community for people that have never experienced it before. Gun ownership and the respect that we show the dangerous machine is unrivaled. People in the kitchen don't give a shit about their dangerous stuff. They don't care about poisons. They don't care about cross-contamination. They don't care about sharp edges. They don't care about heat or any of the heavy things in a kitchen. They don't care about slips and falls. Kitchens are one of the most deadly places in the world. We pay almost no regard to kitchens. Mechanics, when's the last time you worried about if your mechanic was actually putting the cotter pin in something to make sure that bolt didn't unscrew? Nobody cares. Everybody takes everything for granted. So when you go to take a class, you're never going to get instructed on safety in a kitchen. You're never going to get instructed on more than just the initial safety when you're taking a driving class or something. When you take a firearms class, it's nothing but safety, and it's not like people are making up safety things on the go, on their run, or on the fly. They are using established safety things that have been around since essentially since Cooper created them back in the day. So when people experience firearms community and our level of awareness and intensity, they're often blown away, and they had no idea. They assumed all gun owners are reckless yahoos, as they are characterized by people trying to demonize us and change the Overton window to marginalize gun owners in our property. So an experience like this one, held by essentially kids that go to the school, to the university, and held by the students themselves as instructors. And you can see there's a bunch of old people in this crowd. And if these people have never held a gun before, you think they voted before. So these are probably people from California. How the hell do you grow up and be this old in Arizona and never shot a gun before? So therefore, they're probably from California, and they're probably experiencing guns in the first time in an environment, as you can see, at the county range that seems very safe to them. They're being overwhelmed with safety, and everything that they could possibly encounter at the range has been thought of and provided for as an orientation beforehand. Then they're taken in a very comfortable way, one-on-one, to experience, it looks like, both pistols and long arms. So the only thing that's missing here is a bunch of suppressors, right? I'm guessing that they all have Ear Pro on. It says that NSSF supplied Ear Pro. But, this is the kind of introduction that creates normalization of guns in our communities. So Wildcats, our shooting team here in Arizona, University of Arizona, awesome. And then let's take a look at the people that are supporting them. Apex Tactical, All Hail the Flatty, I don't know what that is, Apex Tactical. CMMG, Glock, whatever, KNY Shot, Kind Shot, LEO Armory, they're here in Arizona. Freaking Laser Engraved, that's probably them. Midway USA Foundation, Overwatch Designs, Pima Shooting Sports, that's the county range. Riton Optics, Ruger, which is also in Arizona. Scholastic Action Shooting Program, that's a national level school shooting program. Scholastic Shooting Sports, again, shooting sports. Taylor Freelance, The Hub Tucson, it's a gun shop here. Tipman Arms, the Blue Gun Lube, and University of Arizona. So that's a lot of support, and well done. They not only have a shooting team on a university, but they also have this interest and motivation to educate and normalize guns, and they spend time doing it and document it. Anybody can do good things. If you do good things, the people that know about the good thing you did, and you know about it. When you do good things and have social media and post like this, now everyone knows. Other shooting teams are motivated. Other schools might be motivated to have a shooting team. Other coaches and team members understand that this is something they can do to provide for the community. this is the kind of example why we do this show. And I'm proud to be in Arizona, in Tucson. Here's a picture of the group. And they win all the time, too. Like, they're not just doing this. They are pretty good shooters. Our friends BMC Tactical started in one of the rooms of the, was it a junkyard or an auto shop? And then eventually grew to take over the building that the shop was in, or the place was in. And then eventually the shop took over, and now it's BMC Tactical, where it used to be the repair shop, I think, or modification shop. So this is BMC Tactical's dad. They call him the old man, and he's always farting around in the back with the vehicles. I don't think this is on their property. I've never seen this much vegetation on their property, but it's probably some vehicle he's about to restore. So, yeah, cool company, and happy birthday. So now we have Stephen Holbrook talking about Sir Hiram Stevens Maxim on the anniversary of the world's first. What was this? Was the anniversary of him being born? So there's Hiram Maxim, Hiram Stevens Maxim, Hiram Percy Maxim, and somebody else Maxim. Hiram Stevens is the guy that made the machine gun. I believe it's Percy, his son, who invented the suppressor, and then Stevens' brother invented smokeless powder. So they were all inventors, and they were all paying attention to guns at the time. And this is Stevens, Sir Hiram Stevens, showing the machine gun that he invented, the first machine gun, essentially, showing it to his grandson. So kind of a cool family picture there. Imagine your grandpa inventing the machine gun and then taking you out in the backyard to shoot it. Pretty cool. Speaking of people inventing stuff, says Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier in October of 1947. And on this date in 1948, this is a few days ago, at the end of January, Orville Wright died in Dayton, Ohio, at the age of 76. So during his lifetime, Orville Wright seen the first powered flight, which he was involved in, all the way up to supersonic flight. I always think of my grandparents' generation. They grew up where telephones were goofy, tiny things attached to a wall, and they pretty much, if they're still kicking, have seen smartphones, but they've seen all, telecommunications change. They also, some of them existed before the airplane, right? And lived through space flight. So everything that we take for granted as far as flying around like birds and magically, our grandparents, so maybe your great grandparents, depending how old you are, but our grandparents' generation grew up in a world, they were born into a world where people only could go where they could climb or jump off of. And now we live in a world where we can fly around the planet pretty damn quick if you got a couple of bucks. Pretty neat. Let's not forget that we're living in a time of change, and people that can't handle it freak the fuck out, and change just keeps happening, and it's not always bad, it's just change. All right, so now we have M13, our friends up in Vegas that are firearms mechanics, let's say, manufacturers and repair. Then they're working with a new tool from Recreator Blanks, our friends in Ohio. So this is a setup for rivets near the rear trunnion on folding style trunnions, which means triangle side folders and under folders. And it also works on the Y style trunnions of the 74s. So when we're talking about an AK, it's a metal taco with some stuff riveted to it. And the stuff that's riveted to it kind of depends, or completely depends, on what kind of stock you're going to put on it. So in this case, this is a fixture, a device that is designed to create a place or a way for you to smash these rivets in a very controlled environment. Where when I would build back in the day, we would do this with an airplane riveter, which was a thing you hold in your hand like a power tool, and an anvil. And you have to do all the work of alignment and precision yourself, and that means you'd probably figure out a few times on your first couple of dozen rivets, and then eventually you get good, and then you've always got the potential to do wrong. These fixtures from Recreator Blanks essentially mimic or provide the same situation that the factories probably had, or something probably similar. So you end up with essentially pristine rivets, which are kind of impossible if you're just doing it by hand. I mean, it's possible to do something and then clean it up by hand, but it's very difficult to just, I mean, I guess after years of doing this, you could do perfect rivets all the time by hand, but very neat. So if you're not interested in this, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but people that have ever tried to put together an AK receiver, the technology behind that is changing, which is awesome because parts kits aren't exactly getting easier to find. You would think that it'd be more and more, or less and less interest in building, but it seems like there's even more progress being made in AK building than there is in AR building, because there's really not much difficulty in AR building, really. So there's, the tricks have already been figured out. Anyway, let's go back to talking about shooting teams at colleges. So we have Oklahoma State University has a practical shooting team, and they're having a machine gun shoot and night shoot on February 17th. Are you keeping track of how many awesome things are happening on February 17th? If you're hanging out on February 17th and you can travel and you're not traveling, then you made a decision not to do something epic, because there's a ton of epic shit happening on Friday or February 17th. If you can't travel on February 17th, just sit down at some point during the evening and consider how many awesome 2A events are happening on February 17th this year. So, you could ignore that, or you could be aware of how awesome the country is going to be on February 17th. The only frustrating part about it is it's impossible to get to all of them because they're all over the country. But it also means it's possible for you to get to any of them. So anyway, the Oklahoma State University Practical Shooting Team 2024 Machine Gun and Night Shoot fundraiser. All funds benefit the OSU Practical Shooting Team, allowing us to compete at the SASP College Nationals. Machine gun shoot begins at 3 p.m. and ends at 6 p.m. Night shoot begins at 7 p.m. $20. Machine gun rental fee to be determined. White light, night vision, put your skills to the test. 4 dynamic stages with a combination of steel and paper targets. Bring your own gear and ammo to test out equipment. Feel free to DM us with questions. How super cool is this? So Oklahoma winning. And look at this. Here's our Wildcats saying, very cool, guys. How awesome is that? So, very. Now we have this thing. This says, it's from the Independence Fund, and it says February 2nd at 12 p.m. Learn no-gi jiu-jitsu. So I think that just means jiu-jitsu without wearing the costume or whatever. So the King of the Mat competition winner receives whatever rash guard, which is that tight shirt they wear, and then they got food. So essentially, some black belt and some guy who's I'm assuming some kind of good fighter is going to be there to fight with you. But this is okay. Doesn't say where it is, but I thought it was cool that wherever Hero Jiu-Jitsu is. I thought it was cool that Independence Fund, though, is branching out and promoting stuff like this, which, I don't know, there's probably some people that don't like jiu-jitsu, but it seems like everybody that is interested in it and participates in jiu-jitsu really has a good time with it. It's satisfying on a lot of levels. Next up is the Gun Food posting this speed dating one, 9mm or 45. She says, what? And then he moves on to the next person. All right, and then we got Read the Pressers, played it about the illegal, whatever. Are we allowed to say illegals? That, whatever. We have to say illegal aliens now. I'm just going to keep saying illegals because that's how I grew up. But the illegals that beat up some cops in New York and then they just let them go. It's pretty lame. So it's almost as if they're trying to get people to be mad at each other. So, 4 criminals. That doesn't mean everybody in every other country is a criminal. So, you choose to get mad at everybody who enters the country anytime you want, or you can realize that pretty much everybody's got their own story. And we're a big enough country to deal with more than black and white. And then we got this one from Pets for Vets. Somebody made this comic up, I guess, and little puppy is saying that he wants the ball underneath the couch, even though he's got a whole bunch of other balls. And that's the grass is always greener. With puppies, though, it's the ball that they can't get is the only one they care about. Let's see, we've got so this is the first test launch of a Titan 1 IBC ICBM. Was 65 years ago on February 6th. The Titan 1 was only in service for 3 years. Originally developed as a backup to the Atlas, it did represent a step forward in technological process, paving the way for the real ones, the Titan 2s that we have here still. That we have in the museum. There's only one Titan 2 still. That remained in service for 25 years. And this shows an operational Titan 1 being ascended from its silo. So Titan 1s were a lot different. If I remember right, they had to have their fuel. Wait, did they have their fuel in them? I think they had their fuel in them, and that is not the way to go. So I think. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. It has to do with the fuel, though. And I think our Titans 2s, they had half the fuel in them or something, and all they had to do is drop the rest of the fuel in. Essentially, they run off hydrogen peroxide and something mixed together. So it's just a chemical reaction. They don't really light an engine as much as the chemical reaction explodes inside of them. And it's just the way that they were able to get them ready. But anyway, the Titan 2s lasted for 25 years. Those things only lasted for 3, so Titan 1s can suck it. And I think their silos are lame because I've never seen, I think they have to come up. They're not a deep silo. I think they come up like an antenna or something. Let's see, 1 year clean, and then I ran into my dealer at the Publix. So is it that time of year? I saw some Girl Scouts at the Walmart the other day. I don't know when Girl Scout cookie time of year is. Usually barbecue would be the one talking about it. And was it this time of year? I don't know. As being a scout, as a little kid, we had to go around and sell stuff. And now Girl Scouts always just get to hang out at a store. I guess it's probably safer, but I think it's a lot. I think you learn a lot more going around. So figure out a way to make it safer for girls to go around and make them go around, because you learn a lot going door to door trying to sell stuff to people that don't want it. And then we get gun food again, talking about looking at the instructions, because he almost got out his Uzi to build this bookshelf. So yeah, I'm not sure what they're thinking. Is that supposed to be a drill or something? But definitely looks like an Uzi. Okay, that was the last one. So that was a long show today, a little bit longer than normal because I got started late and there's just a lot of stuff we did. It's been like 2 weeks since we did the show. I just looked over and it doesn't look like Cape Gunworks has a show posted yet, but they usually go live today. So we'll suggest that you head over there after this one. Normally I would link to it. And normally we have people chatting over there, but nobody's saying anything today. So today was just an Instagram lecture. You're welcome. That was kind of boring, though. So next week it'll only be a week. Hopefully we'll have more interaction. If you're listening to this in the future and you think, boy, that was boring, just listen to that dude lecture for an hour about Instagram, consider joining the show and talking in the comments. We did have some people say, hey, Anderson Manufacturing showed up today. Welcome. Mike White was out there and Gunpowder Beauty. Then later, DM Foss showed up and Gizzard Gary, but that was it. So thanks to y'all for saying hey. If you're still out there, have a good day. Otherwise, I guess we'll be wrapping this one up. We come back on Wednesdays to kind of cross the streams, to bring the stuff from Instagram over here. There's a lot of Second Amendment stuff that happens on Instagram that I'm aware of, and I don't see hardly anything on YouTube. So I think that it's good to wipe some of this Second Amendment focus stuff over here on YouTube, as well as maybe reach some people who don't know about some of these channels out here. So I'm just kind of scrolling down through some of the more recent ones here, and you can see there's a pretty good variety of stuff. A lot more commercials on Instagram than there used to be. Is Gunpowder Beauty out here? I thought I remember. Yeah, so here's one of hers. I tried starting a day without coffee once. My court date is pending. Seems like a lot of hers are focused on coffee, it seems. Mike White is saying doing other things while listening. Well done. Hope you have a good day. Thanks for joining in, being the first one here. And the last one, we'll throw a commercial out for our store. I have handfuls and handfuls of patches. So at this point, the only person that hasn't bought anything this year is Hillbilly, who bought an $11 patch last month. So at this point, the $30 a month we're spending on the store is a massive loss. So if anybody wants to buy something from the store, guaranteed to get handfuls of patches. Well, maybe not handfuls, but you're guaranteed to get more than a free patch, that's for sure. So again, thanks to the people that do, as capitalists, support what we do on this end of the internet.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.